This is Off the Ice, the Nanaimo Clippers hockey show on 106.9 The Wolf. With the latest news on the Clippers and the BCHL, here's Dan Marshall.
This is Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show. Trade deadline just passing yesterday in the BC Hockey League. Lots to talk about on that topic. We'll get to head coach and general manager of the Clippers, Mike Vandekamp, in just a couple of moments. Also, a defensive pair, a full-on defensive pair is going to join us. Karel and Buchanan. We'll talk about their lives together as they try and become a rock-solid shutdown defensive pair in the BC Hockey League with the Clippers. We're going to play a game with them as well. Tough Hero Trivia is going to be the name of our game today. I'll explain that later on. You'll hear from John Meisner, the voice of the Wenatchee Wild, the Clippers in Wenatchee on Friday for the first ever game. And also on the show, Trevor Alto, executive director from the BC Hockey League, talking about the Canadian Junior Hockey League Prospects game. It's coming up on the 26th of January. Before we get to the head coach, though, hockey trivia and trade deadline related, because Gavin Gould is now a Nanaimo Clipper, and he's the subject of trivia. Only one day he's a Clipper, Joe, and already he's the subject of trivia.
Wow, that's quick.
That's very quick.
And it is a yes or no question, so it's kind of easy to
Pretty easy today.
Go to our Facebook page and check it out. Yes or no, does new Clipper forward Gavin Gould have a goal against Nanaimo this year?
3 games, and he's a top scorer, but there was a Clipper shutout in one of those games, so I tried to make it a little bit difficult, so it's pretty much a 50-50 shot in the dark guess, unless, of course, you remember something specific. We'll give you the answer and the winner, and the winner we choose as well. If we have multiple right answers, we'll get a pair of Clipper tickets to an upcoming Nanaimo Clipper home game. Not many left as we're heading to the final third of the season. Head coach and general manager of the Clippers, Mike Vandekamp. And coach, in the last 72 hours, as we've been talking, we did our pregame coaches interview, and I think you were outside in a playground, and I heard you were just washing dishes. So there's a lot more to Mike Vandekamp than just hockey all the time.
I'm a pretty domesticated animal. There's no question about that. I guess that goes for any young family out there, right? That's everybody's busy these days, and I think obviously my wife works full time, so we all participate. Yeah, the other day I was talking to you. I was at a soccer game watching. My daughter actually scored a nice goal in soccer on Saturday, and tonight it's cooking supper and doing dishes. So yeah, just the real world stuff.
We're going to talk about the trade deadline, of course, but 2 very important results for your team this week, and it felt a bit like the playoffs, honestly, Saturday in the win against Powell River. And Blake Clement and I talked about it, and the phrase that we used about Wednesday was just baby steps, kind of getting back down to it after a couple of losses in Powell River. But I think on the ice, an excellent week for your hockey club just went by.
Yeah, I agree. We needed to bounce back. Obviously, we'd had one of our worst games, I guess, on the Sunday, ending that road trip over to Powell River. So to be able to, bounce back, and we hadn't played at home for quite a while. It had been, I think, whatever it was, right before Christmas there in December, 18th or 19th of December, since we'd had a game at home. And so, it took us a little while to get going there a little bit on the Wednesday night game, I thought. But once we got going, I thought we played better in the second half. Third period was real good, and we carried that into the game on Saturday, and obviously that game had a little bit more emphasis on it as well, just because they were the guys that had beaten us in their building, and of course they're right behind us in the standings, and it was our opportunity to play them in our rink, and so it was a big game. It had a little bit of a big game feel to it, and good crowd in the building, good atmosphere, and I thought overall it was a good hockey game. We played pretty good in the first period, got off to a good start, and I think the second period, really the setback was more just the penalties. We were shorthanded for 8 minutes out of the 20. Back on our heels there a little bit because of that. You lose momentum. You have one double minor and then 2 other minor penalties, I think it was, in that period. So, I think that took the wind out of our sails just a little bit, even though the penalty kill was excellent. And the third period, I thought we played really well again. And it was, they were fighting hard too. It was a good hockey game.
Was there a designed play? Rempel winning the game in the third period. Hoover had to win the faceoff, of course, to get it to him. But was that a designed play to get a quick faceoff win to Sheldon Rempel and let him go to work? Because the execution on that game-winning goal Saturday was fantastic.
Well, not really. I mean, it's probably something that we'd be trying to do off a lot of draws. And Sheldon puts himself in a position. Basically, he and Devin switch sides there, so he's able to shoot the puck quickly from the middle of the ice. Obviously Devin's got to create the traffic in front, and Hoover has to win the face-off, which he's been very good at this year. So it was a big play. There's definitely an exclamation point on face-offs during the game. I think they're a really important part of the game, and that was a big play. And Sheldon, obviously, you want him to be the guy shooting the puck right now, the way that he's scoring goals. So it found its way in, and they had to make that goalie change, and we didn't get a lot of shots there for a little while. And again, that was sort of what had gone on a little bit in the second period. We wanted to get more rubber on their goaltender, and just get a shot through some traffic, and that one happened to find its way in.
First trip ever to Wenatchee, a 3-3 road trip, Wenatchee, Langley, and Coquitlam. And how do you make sure that this trip is like your last 3-game road trip where you had all the success in Prince George, Chilliwack, and Surrey, and not like the first two? Just the first two seemed to get kind of off the rails in the first game and never recover. The last trip started well, and it just kept going through the whole thing. So I would say maybe the important thing is the Wenatchee game on Friday might be the whole tone setter, but your last 3-3 was so good, and I think that's encouraging.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it comes down to the start on any of these road trips. This one's going to be another one of those ones that flies by for us. We're going to finish a game, and then we're going to drive till probably 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or probably 2:30ish anyways, and have to play a game at 6 the following night, and then a quick turnaround with a 2 o'clock game on Sunday. So it's going to fly by quickly, and I think if you can have positive momentum, you can roll right through the trip. And obviously, adversely, if you dig yourself a little bit of a hole, it all happens real fast, and sometimes you can't get out of it quickly enough. So a 3-game road trip in a short amount of time kind of takes on a life of its own, I think, sometimes. And so, we control that by how we play in the first game, and I think it's going to be very important that we get off to a good start on this trip.
There's a lot of buzz around what you did at the trade deadline, adding, I called it a big fish earlier on the radio today, but the 10th overall scorer in the BC Hockey League, Gavin Gould, from the Merritt Centennials. This is a major transaction, and I would also say a major coup for the Clippers to get a player like that, a team that has wanted secondary scoring. It's hard to imagine him not providing that. He's been so consistent, not just this year, but last year too.
Well, I think that was one of the reasons we were attracted to Gavin, is he has been a consistent scorer in our league. He's not a flash-in-the-pan guy. He's been in the league this is his 3rd season, all with the same team. He started as a 17-year-old guy. He's been a consistent scorer and was before he even got into junior. And it's a different type of deadline now than it used to be 5 or 10 years ago. There's not as many opportunities to make trades and moves. There's teams without cards even left, and the rosters are smaller. We're not carrying extra bodies that sometimes you used to see teams have extra guys and have to cut down on January 10th. That doesn't exist anymore. A lot of teams making the playoffs or in the playoff hunt, so that's changed the dynamics a little bit too. So, there wasn't a lot of players that were going to move. And, we had some ideas of what we felt like our team could use. Secondary scoring, for sure, being one of them. And there are other needs that we have as well that, to try to create the perfect template. But, you can't always trade your way into those scenarios. You're looking at options and trying to maybe add some other things. And, there were some other things that we felt we could have used, but Gavin was the one guy that we really had our eye on in this league. He really was. He was the guy that we've been actually talking about since the first conversation that we had about Gavin was back when we played Merritt in our building, and I can't remember when that game was, but I know it was quite a while ago, probably in November. And I'm talking about a conversation that I had with their coach and manager at the time. So this has been something that we've worked on for a long time, and it ended up happening for us. And, Gavin will hopefully add some scoring. And I told him this yesterday when we talked. I mean, there's not a lot of pressure on him. We're not expecting him to come in here and be some sort of a savior or, be perfect or do great things every day. Just come and be the player he is. He's a good player in our league, and, he should score, I would think, and hopefully at a reasonable clip. But I also like the way he plays the game. He gets under people's skin. He's kind of a feisty little guy. I know he's not the biggest guy, but he plays a feisty game, and he's hard to play against. And I know that all the teams in the interior division that know him well, certainly we're happy to see him leave the division for one, and we're hoping to actually acquire him themselves. So that says a lot about a player.
Zach Court goes the other way, and I'm a huge fan of the way he played, and I think you are too. And I don't think it was a case that you thought Zach was expendable, but to make something happen, you need to give up something. And I think Zach was really coming into his own as a Nanaimo Clipper. And in fact, I really liked him on the very last line that he got to play on with Spencer Houston and Corey Renwick. But certainly Zach was a guy that performed well when he was here.
Well, I love Zach. I mean, we're going to miss him a lot. It was a pretty emotional conversation yesterday because he's an honest player. He's a great kid, and he gave everything he had for our team. And I know he's a good teammate to everybody here too. So that was a tough move to make. And you know, it's not always an easy business, I guess. And you know, you see it at the pro level and stuff too. And everybody, you know, you kind of see it more now on the television and that with all the media coverage that the sports gets, and you know, these types of things aren't easy. But to be honest with you, when you're living it, it really is difficult. You know, there's only Blake and I there yesterday, and you know, you got to have a conversation with a kid that you both really, really like, and you know, and he wants to be on our team too, and it's tough, and you know, but I think it was something where you know, made sense for our team. And, you know, even he knew that at the time when we talked. You know, it was an opportunity for us to, you know, we got a good club this year. We've got a chance, and we have, you know, when you can add a player like Gavin, you know, that hopefully can give us a little bit more punch now. You know, I think you need to look at that. So it was a tough move. We're going to miss Zach. Hopefully he'll do well in Merritt, and, you know, and hopefully he enjoys his time there and continues to thrive, and I'm sure he will.
Gavin is committed to Michigan Tech. Is it 100% confirmed that he goes next year, or is there any opportunity that maybe he can play as a 20-year-old next year?
I have no idea. Hasn't been discussed or anything of that nature. So I believe he's going next year. I think that's the talk for sure, and that's the plan. And you know what? That's what our league's all about. We have players here in this league to help provide them opportunities to move on to the next level. And no, he's scheduled to go next year. That's great. That's really why Merritt was moving him at this point, as they're fighting for their playoff lives right now too. So that's the expectation, is that he would be here for the rest of this season.
You've, over the years, many times added in a key player at the deadline. Sometimes you're tinkering at the deadline, adding a depth guy. Other times you're adding in a key guy, and I think Gavin Gould is a key guy. Do you have it in your mind already who you want him to play with, and do you want to try and give him 5 or 6 games with the same unit and just throw them out there, or do you want to play it by feel and see where there's a good fit, and maybe if it's not working after even a game or a game and a half, you might make a quick change there?
I think you have to give things a bit of time, but it'll probably require us to move some people around a little bit. I got an idea of what we might start with here, but I've also got some other lineups that I kind of like too, and I guess it'll depend on the performance of all the players involved too, and the consistency of players. That's one of the things that at the junior level can be very difficult to find, is that you get that sort of same game from each player every night, so you kind of know what you're dealing with. And right now that's what we're looking for, is that everybody just brings a consistent, good, solid effort every game, and then that will allow us to be able to know who's going to fit best with who if everybody's playing their best hockey. And you know, you'll find some chemistry in what kind of works and fits. And you know, I think obviously the most consistent line playing together this year has been Hoover with Brasso and Rempel. There's been a lot of different line combinations after that. And lately I've liked the way that Kramer, Finner, and McTavish have played together. We cannot forget our young addition, Matt Kowalski, and where he's going to fit in the mix. I think he's played well, and you know, deserves an opportunity to continue to find a spot in the lineup that's a good, regular, consistent spot too. So I think it's going to take us a while to get things going, and you know, so for now it's, you know, we'll get Gavin here. He didn't skate with us today. He's traveling today, and he'll skate with us tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday before we head on the road. So we'll have 3 days to try some things in practice, and then obviously with a 3-game road trip, don't be surprised if you don't see different combinations obviously there too, that things will switch up as we go through the weekend. And it's really all about you know, being ready for the playoffs, and obviously we want to finish first and have home ice advantage, and we got a lot of work to do to continue to work towards that. So that's the immediate goal, and but finding the chemistry and finding who plays with who the best is going to be a work in progress for sure.
Coach, appreciate the time as always, and we'll chat on the bus on Thursday heading down to Wenatchee.
Sounds good, Dan. Thank you.
He's the head coach and general manager of the Nanaimo Clippers, Mike Vandekamp. When we come back, we'll hear from a couple of his players, defenseman Sean Buchanan and Taylor Karel off the ice. We are live off the ice, the Clippers hockey show on the Wolf. Today we've got a defensive pair here. We don't often get it, line combinations or defensive pairs, but this time we do. Sean Buchanan, a veteran of this show and a frequent winner on trivia, and Taylor Karel, the newbie on this show, joining us here. So let's give the veteran Sean Buchanan first word. Sean, here we are. We chatted early in the season, and an important season for you, coming into your own after being an AP for so much of last year, but becoming a regular and a counted-on guy for the Nanaimo Clippers. I imagine that's meant quite a lot to you this year.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun to be getting in the lineup and getting some time, so it's definitely been a great experience.
As you look back to last year, the experience that you had, we've talked about this before, but playing here, being an AP, paying a lot of junior B dues, so to speak, for yourself. What do you think that year, though, did for you to make yourself a BCHL regular this year?
I think going back to junior B definitely gave me a lot of confidence and probably the best thing for me. And it was actually a lot of fun, so I don't regret it at all, that's for sure.
When you first came here at the beginning of last year to right now, when you think of your own play, and I don't know how much of you watching yourself on video factors into this, but where are the biggest differences, the biggest improvements that you made in your game, do you think?
I think a lot of it's confidence and skating as well. Gotten better foot speed. I guess, yeah, confidence, just thinking faster. That's pretty much it.
When I think of you as a guy that can also provide offense for this team if you get an opportunity to be a power play guy. Do you feel like maybe you're learning a lot from guys like Yanni Caldas that down the road you could turn into a similar type player that can lead a team offensively from the back end?
Yeah, definitely. I notice watching him a lot in practice and stuff. He's really good, so definitely a good guy to learn from.
How difficult is it to go after Sheldon Rempel in a practice, but also playing a guy like that, leading scorer in the league? Does that make you better at defending things like one-on-ones and some of the more skilled players in the league? Because I imagine every time he comes down, you have in a practice the ability to look kind of foolish.
Yeah, it definitely makes you a better player. He's the toughest guy to play when there's other guys on the ice because he sort of like plays off them, and that's when it gets really hard. But it definitely makes you a lot better, that's for sure.
Taylor, picking up on the Sheldon Rempel thing, when you're playing your top forwards in practice, how much do you have to lay off those guys, and how often do you get a chance in a battle type drill to throw a lick on a guy from your own team?
Well, it's fun to compete against those guys. It really shows you what you need to work on to play with them, and it's fun. I mean, practice. We work pretty hard and play hard, so. We get pretty competitive in the drills and practice.
We've talked about this just recently in Powell River, in fact. You and Sean becoming a defensive pair, and it's been a couple more games since we've chatted, but you guys just look so comfortable on the ice. You talked about it before, but this has to be a nice thing to, I think, find a guy that you feel real comfortable with on the ice as a defense partner. Yeah,
it's been great. We feed off each other, and we work really well together, both being big guys, and so we're pretty defensive-minded guys, I'd say, so we complement each other, and I think we've done a pretty good job so far.
I think we're 13 games into your Nanaimo Clipper career. Sean talked about confidence, and over a longer stretch of games where his confidence has gone over Game 5 to Game 10 to Game 13, and now heading into the back stretch of the season. How far has your confidence come in a short time being here?
It's come a long ways. I mean, first weekend I was here, didn't know anyone, didn't know any of the guys. It was pretty tough, but now that I've played 13 games, I know what other guys are thinking. I know the team system's a little bit better, and my confidence has came a long way. It's important when you have a 3-3 road trip, and when you first came to the Clippers, that was, I think, your first taste pretty much, is getting into that 3-3. There was a lot of success there. This team has gone 3-0, and they've also failed to win a game on a 3-game road trip as well. What's the importance of getting off to this good start in Wenatchee on Friday to set the tone like you did last time on a 3-game trip? It's definitely probably one of the most important games of the weekend is that first one. We need to go out there and just work hard and do what we're supposed to so we can get rolling and we can get going for the other two games so we're not, coming back from a bad game or something. So we have the momentum going into the second game in Langley.
I was told 3,700 people for Wenatchee's last home game. Talk about some of the environments that you played in where there's a lot of people. Maybe it's not quite 3,700, but some memorable hockey environments in terms of the crowd for you.
Probably the top one was when I was in high school. I played in the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament, and we our semifinal game, we had 19,000 people at the game at the XL Energy Center where the Minnesota Wild play at. So that was pretty cool. But then last year I played in Wenatchee when I was in that league last year, and it's gonna be a great atmosphere Friday night. It's gonna be fun to play in, and it should give the boys a lot of energy to go out there and try to beat them in their home barn.
Did it feel like a playoff game on Saturday? And when you're playing the Powell River Kings, you're up 3-2 in the third, and they're putting the press on. You guys are trying to defend that lead. It seemed like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, it was definitely a playoff type game. Like, it came down to the little things, and everybody was going out there doing their job, paying attention to details, and we came out with the win, which was huge.
Let's bring that microphone right between the two of you again. As I'm talking, we'll get you to reset it. And one of the unwritten rules of this game is that when you answer a question, you have to lean directly hard into that microphone so the world can hear you. This is Tough Hero Trivia. I've got a Tough Hero prize pack for the two of you guys. Tough Hero Trivia. Sean Buchanan, do you feel you know a lot about tough heroes?
I have no clue what this is about, but I'm excited.
Taylor Karel, do you feel you know a lot about tough heroes?
No clue.
No clue, says Taylor Karel. Well, we'll begin, and these questions are going to go over the map a little bit here, but we'll begin now. Tough Hero Trivia. Matt Mickey leads the BC Hockey League with 107 penalty minutes. You just played the guy on Saturday who's second in the BCHL with 103 penalty minutes. Do you know who that guy is? Sean Buchanan.
We played Powell River on Saturday, right?
Yes, you did. This is begin. It's going to be a guess.
I'm going to go with Halligan or Halesian or whatever his name is.
That is correct. 1 point for Sean Buchanan. Nick Halesian second in BC Hockey League penalty minutes. Question 2. James Bond is one tough hero. Name me any actor who's played James Bond. Any actor. There have been several. Just name one. Any actor. Taylor Karel.
Daniel Craig?
That is correct.
Yes. There we go.
Joe, you were laughing over there. Who's your favorite James Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
That's
Should have known. But Joe is somewhat dubious in her understanding of movie stars because one of her favorite movies is Magic Mike. Okay. So I put an asterisk. Beside that, Joe.
Channing Tatum. That's my hero.
Magic Mike.
Oh, no.
Yeah, tell me about it. Let's get back to business here after that brief interlude. Who averages more penalty minutes between the two of you per game? Taylor Karel.
I'd say I do.
Without question.
Actually?
But it's not even close.
Yeah.
You have more minutes, but on average, Taylor would have way more minutes.
A goon. Yeah.
Okay. Are you keeping score, Joe, for me?
Now I am.
Now you are? Okay. We are 2-1 right now in favor of Taylor. Sean, you are undefeated in hockey trivia. It's tough guy, tough hero hockey trivia today. Tough hero hockey trivia today. The Avengers are a bunch of tough heroes. From the latest movies, name one. Sean Buchanan.
The Hulk?
The Hulk is correct. Would have accepted a whole slew of other names. I was hoping you weren't going to pick one of the lower down superheroes, like Hawk or somebody like that, or I'd have to think about it for a second. Or the Scarlett Johansson one. I forget what her name is.
I just watched that movie like 2 days ago, so.
So you're all over it. Superhero guy. Tough hero trivia. It's all even at 2-2. Taylor Karel, Sean Buchanan. Who leads the National Hockey League currently with 110 penalty minutes? Sean Buchanan.
Just going to take a guess and go with John Scott.
John Scott is incorrect, even though he is going to be a captain for the All-Star team. Taylor Karel, a chance to steal. Leads the NHL in penalty minutes.
I don't have answers for this one.
I'm going to give you guys a chance to follow up on this one here. So put your hand back near the buzzer there, Sean. I'll give you a chance to follow up. I'm going to give a big hint. This player, the leader in NHL penalty minutes, is a Vancouver Canuck. Sean Buchanan.
Another guess. Go with Derek Dorsett.
That is correct. 110 penalty minutes. Dorsett leads the BCHL. It's 3-2 Buchanan in Tough Hero Trivia. What is the world record in the bench press? I'm going to give you an A and a B here. World record in the bench press. Is it 622 pounds or 722 pounds? I think that was Buchanan.
Guess I'll go with. Oh no, it's go with A.
622?
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
I'll go with B then.
No, you don't get to steal on that. Good try, though. Good try, though.
That's for sure.
All right. Now, I need you guys to move the bells out of the way and move the mic out of the way. And Joe, I need you to lean over and judge this.
What's happening?
Arm wrestle right now.
Woohoo.
Sean Buchanan and Taylor Karel.
I'm right-handed. We gotta meet in the middle somehow.
You got to meet in the middle somehow.
Both.
Okay, both arms. Fulcrum style. Sean Buchanan and Taylor Karel are about to arm wrestle on the radio, and Joe is rapidly trying to move equipment out of the way.
Don't break anything, guys.
And this is just fantastic. The guys rolling up their sleeves here to try and muscle each other.
Whoa.
Okay.
Start even. Yeah, here we go.
Joe, is this anything like watching Channing Tatum for you?
Yes, this is nice.
This is nice.
Little magic mic.
Joe, stop drooling.
All right.
These guys are trying to get into position for an arm wrestle. Are you guys both ready for this arm wrestle?
All right.
As ready as you're going to be? All right. Sean Buchanan, Taylor Karel in 3, 2, and 1. Go! Arm wrestle matchup. I don't think we've ever done this on the Clippers hockey show.
Wow.
And
Sean, you're really giving it.
it is a battle right now.
There's no way that was fair.
There was some elbow lifting.
I still won.
With an asterisk. With an asterisk. We're going to give it to Buchanan. And if you guys injured each other doing that, I am never traveling on another bus again. Mike Vandekamp will kill me. So please tell me there are no injuries from that.
Shoulder's a little sore, but I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Bad environment for that.
Yeah, like it was awkward positioning. You know, if we were squared off, I would have gotten the dub there. But
All right, Sean Buchanan, congratulations. You win our Tough Guy Hero prize pack. It's a sword.
It's the best prize yet, Dan.
Not from the movie Thor, but awfully close. Congratulations on your third trivia victory. Dubious arm wrestling win. Taylor, we're not going to talk about that as an official arm wrestling loss for you.
we'll need some officials and like a legit table next time to.
The last time that we did an arm wrestling matchup, it was the beginning of last hockey season, and we actually did an arm wrestle at center ice at Frank Crane Arena, and that got crazy. Because we had this little tiny card table and the guys were knocking the table over like crazy. So we do need, I think, an official arm wrestling table. Sean, how do you feel about being such a big trivia winner on this show?
Well, I expected it, but I'm a little disappointed in the arm wrestle, to be honest. Thought we'd have a better venue, but all around, pretty excited.
Good stuff. Taylor, we're going to give you last word here. First time on the Clippers hockey show. Did you have a good time? And we hope to have you back. Will you come back and join us again?
Oh, it was a great time. Love to come back, and a little disappointed in myself for not beating Bucky over here, but I'll get him back next time we arm wrestle, and we'll be good there. So.
Taylor Karel, Sean Buchanan, a defensive pair for the Clippers, and a few people got trivia right. Joe, give us the answer today and who the winner is.
Well, the question was, yes or no, does new Clipper forward Gavin Gold have a goal against Nanaimo this year? Answer was yes, and Faye O'Connor, congratulations for getting that right on our Facebook page.
And Faye might have seen it because it was in the matchup here at Frank Crane Arena back in December that Gould had that goal. On behalf of Joe, this is Dan. Good night from Off the Ice.
You've been listening to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show. Join us again next Monday night at 7 on Nanaimo's Rock. 106.9 The Wolf.